Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how I start my seeds using the Wintersowing Method. This method was created by Trudy Davidoff and I've been using this method for 6 years with great success. The supplies that you're going to need are some 2-liter soda bottles that have been washed out, or some milk containers, which are my favorite to use. You can even use like kitty litter containers as well. And it's fine if it's not or see-through. Some sunlight will still allow to come through this container, and this is one I've used last growing season just fine, and my seeds sprouted. So with your container, you want to make sure that you take off the labels with a pair of scissors. And then you want to go ahead and cut it about halfway. You don't want to cut it all the way through because in the springtime when your seeds begin to sprout, during the day you want to kind of open it and let it get some air and sunlight, and then close it up before the sun sets to keep your seeds warm. And you want to take a knife and poke several holes at the bottom for drainage. And you definitely, if you live in like an area with a lot of rainfall, snow, or ice, you want to definitely make sure you put a lot of drainage holes at the bottom. And be very careful, or you can really hurt yourself. Okay, there you go. Next, you want to use some potting mix, and you want to fill about 3 inches of soil. You want to make sure that you use a container that's fairly big and holds a lot of soil because your seedlings will need room to grow really strong roots. And when the season warms up, you want to make sure there's enough soil to keep the roots and the plant moist. The soil mix that I use, I make my own with peat moss. I buy the 10-quart huge bag for like $10 or $11, and then you take like 1 part peat moss, 1 part perlite, mix it up really well together, and that's basically seed starting potting mix. Next, you want to take your seeds. And the seeds you want to use are something like perennials or cool season or cold season veggies and herbs. And I even start my Roma tomatoes during winter time. I get a lot of volunteers, and when I used to live in Colorado, I would start them in the dead of winter and they came right up in spring. So there's a couple ways you can sow your seeds in the container. After you fill up, you want to also moisten your soil. I've already done that earlier after mixing my soil up, so I don't need to water them again. With really tiny seeds, I just sprinkle them on the surface of the soil and give them a gentle pat down. I don't bother putting them in like spacing them, because I'll be using Trudy's Hunko method, which is basically taking a small chunk and then planting them, and I don't worry about thinning them out. So if your soil is dry, you want to give it a good watering. And I take some tape, and the kind of tape I like to use is this gray masking tape. And I like to use this over like the paper masking tape because it doesn't break down over time and it stays nice and sticky and keeps the containers completely closed. Next, you can use either a permanent marker or a grease pencil to label your containers. I like to use the grease pencil because I find over time when the label's exposed to the sun, the ink starts to fade and I can't read it. And I got this at Amazon for like $24 for like $6. With the paper masking tape, I will write down the name of the plant and when I planted it. And place it right up here. Okay. Another option is if you only have a permanent marker, what you can do is use some masking tape that won't break down and write down the name of the plant. And also make sure it dries. I ended up smearing mine. Cut that off. And at the bottom, somewhere where you won't cover the holes, just really press it down really well. That way it won't be exposed to the sun, and it won't wear off, and you'll know what kind of plant was sown here, or what kind of seeds were sown here. There you go. So you'll want to do that with the rest, and I'll prep one more to show you with bigger seeds. Okay, so I'm going to plant some red onions, and the seeds are a little bit bigger. And if you want, you can make individual little holes. And what that'll do is make it easier for when you transplant to break little sections off. Usually, like if it's a flower seed or tomato, cucumber, you can take one seed and plop it down. But since these are onions, I'm just gonna plant a few in each hole. And then kind of cover them over and give them a light pat. there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and sow the rest of my seeds, and then I'll show you where I store them. So I found a spot in the side of my house that's away from any form of traffic from animals or people. It gets part shade area, and that's what you want to look for so your seeds or containers doesn't overheat. And as you can see, I have these containers I just filled, and I'm going to move them all in this spot. You want to make sure that your containers are really nestled in your semi-permanent home. I find when the containers are knocked over, the seeds doesn't sprout. So you want to make sure you pick an area that won't get knocked over or fallen, and will get part shade. And you're going to keep these out here all winter long. It's okay if it snows, ice is over, rains, it's all fine. I'll be posting updated videos about my containers, and also show you guys later on when it's warmer and in the growing season on how to take care of your containers and how to transplant them. I'll also be posting other gardening videos. I have about a half-acre lot, and I am on my quest to creating my dream garden. So I look forward to seeing you guys again next week, and please don't forget to like this video and share with your friends that may be interested in winter sowing.